Hello, I have a question for you this week. What kind of person are you? There are two types of people that I'm seeing out there right now, and two types of people that generally exist in this world. There's one type of person who believes that owning real estate and investing in real estate and in other types of investments will provide a healthier and stronger retirement for you and your family. Or are you the type of person that constantly lives in the what if scenario land, where you are constantly paralyzed by decisions because you are worried about what if XYZ happens and XYZ happens? This worst case scenario land is a very toxic place to be because it tends to be populated by people who usually don't know what they're talking about, and they're being informed by people who don't know what they're talking about. How many people did remember Garth Turner? How many people did Garth Turner discourage from owning Toronto real estate? How many people's futures did that man affect by constantly being bearish on a market that he had no business talking about? He was spewing all kinds of nonsense, and some people were eating it up. People did not make strong investments, but meanwhile, he was making investments. He was buying real estate. He owned real estate, but nobody talked about that because he was telling the truth, because he was the doom and gloom truth teller. Those people missed out on six-figure gains over and over and over and over again. But that's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is to understand that even in a market like this, there is an opportunity for you to thrive. There is an opportunity for you to take advantage of investments that exist today that will help you retire like the kings and queens you are. And if you think that I'm some sort of shady salesperson that will only benefit, that is saying all these things because I benefit from you saying yes, I can't change your mind on that. I don't need any more money. I want more money. I want more retirement. I want all of those things. But none of that comes into my decision making or influence, I guess, when I'm speaking to people about making investment decisions in real estate. I think I've just seen too many people make too much money buying during times like this to ignore. And if you are constantly in that what if land, I really think you need to surround yourself with more optimistic people. Surround yourself with people that actually have invested in real estate and can advise you properly and recently invested in real estate. I'm not, and there's also a very toxic group of people that have done a lot of their buying back in the 80s and early 90s who are discouraging a lot of people from investing today because they don't have the same opportunities that they did back in the 80s and 90s. Things are very different today. Toronto is very different today. So decide what kind of person you are and make your decisions from that perspective, looking at it from your future self. What does this decision today do for your future? So a lot of people always ask me, like, when's the bottom of the market? Like, when should I buy? Should I wait? And all of these questions come up, and the answer is different for everybody. Not everybody should be out there buying right now. Let's use the scenario of somebody who is a upsizer. You have a condo, a two-bedroom condo. It's worth, like, let's say $800,000, $900,000, and you want to move into that bigger house finally. That's somewhere like 1.5, 1.6, up to $2 million, whatever it is. That's usually the progression that happens right there. And you're worried about selling your place at a discount because you want to wait for a market where the market's improved so you could get big money for that condo that you're going to move out of, but you're just going to give that money right back on the purchase. Right now, you're going to sell your condo for a little bit less than you would have last winter, say 10, 12% cheaper. And on that $800,000, $900,000 condo, we're talking $80,000 to $90,000 that you're technically leaving on the table if you're of that, mentality. But then look at what happens on the buy side of things. If I'm buying a $2 million house, what does a 10% discount look like on a $2 million house? You're saving $200,000 on that side. So you understand why moving up right now still does make sense. Now, all that being said, if you don't have to make one of these moves or you can wait a little bit longer, perhaps do so, because we're not interested in adding more supply to the market right now to further fuel the flames that exist. We do, like, tying back into the supply situation, and I'm just going to share my screen with you guys here so you can see. Going back here, and talked about what type of person are you. That's kind of how I opened up the blog this week. Looking at inventory here, we had houses have increased in inventory for the last 2 weeks in a row, and they aren't showing any signs of stopping right now. There are some people that are in a position where they need to sell, and they're putting their properties on the market, whereas condos have actually pulled back this week. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought we were going to have another week of increased listings, but there was, a week and a half of aggressive supply increases in condo land, and now we've had it pull back. So everything but houses seems to be pulling back in supply still. And this is the first time in a very long time that I'm seeing condos sort of outperform houses. And none of this is a surprise. And I can pull this in here from our favorite economist, Benjamin Tull from CIBC, and he talked about the same thing. And this is what I've been talking about for a very long time. They did suggest a more moderate growth year in 2022 because nobody was surprised by interest rates coming up this year as inflation became more of an issue. They expected sales to fall 15%, but in reality, sales fell much more than 15%. Like for example, we have over here, if you can see on the side of the screen, 46 firm sales for houses in a week, where we're normally up to like 100 firm sales in a week. 74 firm condo sales in a week, although nicely up from the 30s and 40s where it was over the past couple of months. This is normally around 200. So like it's way lower than 15%. But these rates have affected everything, and it's affected the relative value of condos versus a single detached unit. And the higher rates have channeled more activity into the more affordable condo market, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. And sorry about that somebody's just blowing up our Discord channel for our team here right now. But if you look at this over here, we'll still see that supply is relatively low and considerably in a seller's market territory. If buyer sentiment improves, our market can flip on a dime. But don't get it twisted. We've got two more rate increases coming up this year. So, that is going to affect the market further. And I did chat with the Toronto Star this past week and talked about some of those opportunities that do exist in the market. We talked a lot about, with May Warren over here, I talked a lot about what you could get for $1 million back in the winter of 2022 versus what you can get right now. And this is not behind a paywall, and the links, I'll put in the YouTube video here so you can access it. So you can read a lot about what I talked about with the Star here. Very good stuff going on. So, in general, I'm going to keep this week short because I've got a very important lunch coming up, very, very important lunch coming up at one of my favorite places, Tironi on Yonge Street. But looking at numbers across the board in other communities, like it's all relatively stable. Inventory has not moved that much in any other property type. Bidding wars are still a thing. And why is that still a thing? Well, there's still some unique properties that are heavily in demand right now, especially in this North Riverdale Withrow area. Some Leslieville streets, like this amazing, beautiful house on Boston Avenue, sold very, very quickly for almost $3 million last week. And hard lofts are doing very, very well. But most properties are sitting from 2 weeks to a month, and there's some good negotiations happening, and things are selling. So you're seeing price reductions happen out there, but that's not a reflection of people chasing the market down. It's just kind of understanding the reality of the market and doing what they need to do to handle it. So, just to kind of put that inventory increase into perspective, we had 8 weeks, and during which we had inventory drop 32.8% for houses. So we've only had just some of that eaten into over the past couple of weeks, and not a lot. We'll see how the next few weeks unfold. And is that a concern? No, because months of inventory numbers, we're still in what we'd call an aggressive seller's market if things were more balanced. So if listings continue to pile on, we could be headed for a pretty dark close to the year, but dark only for those that have to sell. And that's what we're really talking about here. And my charts aren't ready yet. So our assistant is putting those in right now. So they'll be on the blog by the time you are watching this video. You click the link in the description and you'll see it. And where else are we here? So example of an awesome deal that exists in the marketplace right now. They've got this assignment available right now at Stockyards project in St. Clair West. The buyer paid $560 some odd thousand for it. Add in my commissions, we're at $600,000 for this thing, still at $988 per square foot. It's got a tenant in it right now, which is less than ideal, but they're paying $2,500 a month. This is not a rent-controlled building, so next year you can jack their rent as much as you can to catch up to the market, but this is fairly close to market value right now. This thing I could sell you right now at the price this guy paid for it in 2018. Reach out if that's something of interest to you. And like I said, if you're not under any pressure to sell your house or condo, it's not the best time to be on the market right now, so please pull your property off the market. But there are brighter times ahead. Markets ebb and flow. They ebb and flow constantly. And if anybody out there is telling you that the end of this year is, that we're in some sort of like perpetual real estate downturn, I mean, I would ignore that person completely. There's no market that's ever just sat in this downturn. Sure, um, we've had a recession that's taken like 13, 14 years to come out of before, but those were different times. Things move a lot faster these days as we're in 2022. And that's when a lot of the more popular uh, internet realtor celebrities aren't understanding is, sure, that you have to be careful with where you're putting your money, as it's important to be somewhat liquid right now. But it's also not okay to be telling people that, oh, dark times are ahead, you better not buy anything right now. That's dumb advice, and it's not educated advice. It's fear mongering bullshit. And pardon my French. But anyway, when we head into a recession, as we're in right now, what do you think happens during a recession? Economies are affected. Money gets easier to borrow. So interest rates will slowly start to come down during that time. And that's when the herd will start to buy again. So are you going to follow the herd and wait till that time when all these other people are buying to finally be comfortable buying? Or are you going to be that person right now who takes advantage of a down market and goes against that herd mentality? You can sell your property to one of these herd members down the road and make some money if you want. But long story short, there are bright times ahead, and I want everybody to be focused on those bright times and make really smart investment decisions today. So keeping this video super short, thanks so much for all of your attention. This is 133 weeks in a row I've been doing this. All the links I just talked about will be in the description. Please subscribe, share with your friends. I would love to hear your feedback on this. Loving the comments I'm getting so far. And please be respectful. That's all I ask of you guys. Take care. And if you are an agent actually that is interested, my team, the Spring Team is hiring. We're looking for experienced agents, and we've got room for 1 or 2 new agents as well. So please reach out, either message, comment below on YouTube, or email me, ara@thespringteam.ca. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.